Yo, what up, everybody? It's your man, Ox the Light. Welcome to the Willie Bobo Show. And we're going to start off with our first episode broadcast for the college football season. Yo, I know it's been a couple of weeks since I last dropped my, last episode, but yo, work with the kid. I got a lot going on in life, man. Just busted out with KOS, Knowledge of Self, as you should have picked that up if you tuned into the WKSY FM episode where Cheryl and Nikki were interviewing me for that joint. Plus, my man Ken Hart of Creative Tunes and I, we've been doing a lot of work, yo, so please forgive me, but the Bobo is here. So, yo, let's talk about college football, yo. This is like my second most favorite time of the year outside of college basketball. And, man, what a weekend, right? So I guess we're going to go from the last game on up to the first. Okay, Bill got his ass beat. My beloved Tar Heels took a major drubbing from TCU, as to which nobody some people expected it. Some of the pundits did say that, they felt that Bill was going to have this team prepared. It's going to be an upset. First drive looks pretty good, right? First drive looks great. Then all of a sudden, TCU wakes up. And damn, what a quarterback they have. This kid's going to be special. He's got a great group of receivers around him. They got one hell of a big-time running back that doesn't mind putting his head down and running people over. Carolina's got issues. Carolina's got issues, man, that I don't think they're going to be able to solve. Stephen A. Smith made a big point that they didn't score for over 2 hours. They didn't complete a pass for 2 hours and 2 minutes. That's insane. That's really insane. That quarterback, whomever he is, the $4 million that Carolina gave him, he should return it. He should take his ass actually back to high school and start regrouping some things, getting his footwork together, his timing, and so on, right? Then we go to another game that I was really putting the spotlight on big time, the South Carolina game. I exactly wanted to see exactly what I was talking about their quarterback, Sellers. This dude is, I'm going to use the word again, special. Because when you talk about certain quarterbacks, man, you have to understand that there's certain intangibles that go along with these guys, right? And a lot of times they have pocket presence, right? They can sling the ball, accuracy, speed, poise in the pocket, right? All these things that we look for. Lenore Sellers is a man amongst the boys. This kid has got a lot of arm. He's got a lot of game. He's got a lot of fortitude intestinally. He's got a good team around him. South Carolina, I'm not going to say that they're going to win the SEC. We already know who's going to win that. But they're coming. You better respect them. Tennessee played a great game. Glad they got rid of the quarterback that they did get rid of because, man, he played like pure trash out there in UCLA this past Saturday. So here comes another situation where it's like, okay, heralded, highly recruited, that shit don't really matter, man. Because the simple thing is, what's going to happen when you put the pads on? And he was in a great situation where he didn't have to leave Tennessee. But money misleads people. Money misguides people. So now look at you. Right? And then, of course, the big one for me really was the Texas-Ohio State game. So everybody was talking about Texas has the best roster in college football. If I'm not mistaken, the most expensive roster in college football. Okay, these guys have Lamborghinis all over their student parking lot for the football players. It's insane, of every color. It looks like a Lamborghini parking lot of Skittles. Shit's fucking crazy, man. But yo, so here we have the Manning name, right? The Manning name, and we all want to think that, Arch is going to be Peyton, Eli, and their brother that didn't get a chance to play because he got injured. Well, the kid is good. He's got to be good to be able to play D1 ball like that, right? But he didn't play enough. He hasn't played enough snaps against big-time competition that's going to let you know whether or not Arch Manning. My bad. They don't all look alike, but they all have the same last name. But the kid was playing decently well last year, right? But he got in against some scrub teams. Now you go up to the Horseshoe. You're going up against a defensive coach who is a former NFL Super Bowl winning defensive coach, comes from Bill Belichick. These kids saw defenses that were complicated. And you got to put that on the coaching staff. Sarkisian made some stupid calls. Sarkisian got out coached, point blank. Sarkisian got way out coached, and Arch was out of his element. He couldn't do anything. The speed on the field was so incredible that by the time he planted his feet to throw, he had to go to a check down. You saw what happened when he wanted to go to his first priority. There was a pick on the sideline, right? 4 times they got shut down on 4th down. That's huge, man. I'm looking at Ohio State as being a juggernaut in the Big Ten. Penn State, I can't rely on their coach. It seems to be that every time these guys have what they need, and that's another team that supposedly on paper is going to be extremely dominant and so on and so forth, but who knows? Because every time they get within that reach, that little piece of stretch that they got to make, it seems to be that their coach just I don't know if it's the coach, if it's the team or whatever have you, but things fall apart badly for Penn State. Yeah. Florida State put foot up that ass, didn't they, Alabama? Roll Tide where? They rolled you the fuck out of Tallahassee. So I love the fact of the matter that their quarterback, Castellanos, put it out there. Yo, Nick Saban is not walking up in here to save you. That shit was lovely, yo. Lovely, you heard? Nick Saban ain't coming to save you. Wow, DeBoer, it's time for you to go, man. It's time for you to go. Watching Alabama play, it wasn't Bama. It wasn't physical. It was not polished. It wasn't direct. The kids didn't seem to know exactly what they were doing. I think they expected, because of the color of the helmet and the name on the front of the jersey, that they were supposed to walk up into Tallahassee and walk out with a win. Now, we do understand that over the past couple of years, Florida State has looked terrible. They've looked like pure ass on the field, like straight vomit. But this year, something happened along the way, man, and God, they look great. And now, Greg Nice with the Big Ten Report.
So first off, I'm going to start off with notable departures starting off with Michigan. So with Michigan, we are looking at Kenneth Grant, third-team All-American, went 13th overall in this year's draft. He was at DT. Will Johnson, the multi-time All-American, went 47th overall at corner. These will definitely leave big holes in that D-line and secondary, which are big parts of the playoff success of this team. But they did add top transfer running back Justice Haynes, who was number 1 in the transfer portal for running backs. He looks to make a big impact after leaving Alabama as a sophomore, having 448 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns as a sophomore. Rutgers definitely is going through a major defensive rebuild, having their almost entire defense getting transferred. They are looking to get a lot of production from Doug Blue Eli and Eric O'Neill, definitely trying to mitigate those losses. Maryland looks to also have a major defensive rebuild. They lost 9 players to either the draft or transfer portal this year, and they also lost key running back Roman Hemby to Indiana. But they did acquire UCLA quarterback Justin Martin, who looks to make a big impact. Illinois just getting up a transfer out total. Illinois lost 4, Indiana lost 8, Iowa lost 9. But the big story this year for at least the Big Ten is Purdue actually had 38 transfers out, so they're looking at an almost complete identity change and a massive rebuild. Northwestern also looks to fill a dire need, losing Pat Bryant and Zachariah Franklin, 2 of their starting wide receivers. They lost those to the draft, making any incoming transfers and underclassmen having to have them really step up. Ohio State looks to have a big impact from their senior DN Kenyatta Jackson Jr. after the departure of Jack Sawyer, going 123 overall to the Steelers, my favorite team, and JT Tumalu, 45th overall to the Colts. Kenyatta should blossom into a defensive leader for Ohio State, making him a potential key piece of their defense. They also brought in offensive tackle Philip Daniels, and he looks to be a key piece of their restructured O-line and will likely start at right tackle. Player movement, I did a little summary here for everybody. Michigan has a significant defensive holes that require a bit of overhaul depth-wise, will bolster their running back room with SEC-tested talent. Rutgers went through a major rebuild, looking a little uncertain to me on defense. Maryland, all I can say is that offensively they're going to be a little inconsistent, especially at running back with no receiving back to assist. Purdue looks to be changing their whole team and identity. They look to take massive losses and look to be on a massive rebuild. Ohio State looks good to me. They lost key pieces on their O-line and D-line, but they definitely look to get solid production from transfers and underclassmen. And for Illinois, I see a potential receiving core crisis, even with a strong returning O-line after losing 2 receivers in the draft. And then I did set up a little bit of a power ranking here. I had Ohio State at number 1. They are the reigning national champs, and keep elite playmakers in wide receiver Jeremiah Smith and DB Caleb Downs. At number 2, I have Penn State, my personal favorite. They have a very strong returning core and are led by quarterback Drew Allar, with a strong rushing duo in Nick Singleton and Katrin Allen. And they also do have a new defensive coordinator, which I think they're going to have a really good time getting to know him and getting to learn from him as well. At number 3, I have Oregon. Former Pac-12 champs enter with the momentum, and they bring good transfers and the promising quarterback in Dante Moore. At number 4, I have Michigan. Definitely a little bit of a leadership issue just because they are new leadership. But they do have that top transfer in Justice Sands, like I was saying earlier, at running back, which definitely offers optimism, but they do still have a lingering quarterback issue, is why I have them a little low. Number 5, I have Illinois. So they have a strong returning O-line and also a returning quarterback in Luke Altmer. So that is my top 5 for the power rankings. I do have an upset watch going here as well. So Michigan add a new quarterback and have defensive pulls that could drop a game on maybe like an India or an Illinois. Also with that new head coach, it leaves a little bit of a hesitation for me when it comes to upsets. For USC, they definitely have a talented roster, but a little soft on the O-line and D-line. They'll be outmuscled by like Iowa or Wisconsin for me. Oregon have a very flashy offense, but Big Ten road trips like Penn State or Illinois could give them a lot of trouble. I also have a little bit of a dark horse list, people that I think are going to perform a little bit better than they should. For Indiana, coming off their first college football playoff appearance, which shows like their historic production, honestly. Quarterback Fernando Mendoza gives them an interesting offensive spark with a definitely strong defensive core. Nebraska, true freshman quarterback Dylan Raiola showed greatness in 2024, and now with another offseason with Dana Holgorsen's offensive system, I think Nebraska's ceiling is a lot higher than most people would expect them to be. For Illinois, I have Illinois in there as well. They're returning about 75% of their active roster from last year, especially on that O-line and D-line. That definitely helps out a lot. With Luke Altmaier, they are definitely a lot more stable. If their defense gets a good amount of production, I realistically see them as a top 5 finish, like I had them earlier, and maybe into like possibly getting a game on maybe a Michigan or but that is going to be it for me. I do thank you all for your time, and hopefully you all agree with what I have to say.
Thank you, Greg, for that weekly Big Ten report. Can't wait to hear the one next week.
So, big up to my man's Legacy City putting out some joints this week. My man busted out like 3-4 albums, you know what I'm saying? Because he just be like spitting out albums like crazy. His albums just be coming out like... My man is rocking #1 seller right now, 1, 2, and 3 on Amazon. Make sure y'all check out all his new projects, you know what I'm saying? My man Legacy is really on some shit. You know what I'm saying, on some good shit. Also, check out A Cat that's on some singles with a single with him, because he's got a joint going with Redman and Method Man. You know what I'm saying? And that's my man Face the Misfit, one of the great persons I feel here in town. He's a coach, he's a teacher, he's an MC, and a dedicated weightlifter to himself. So big up to him too for being on that album, y'all. Go check it out, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you keep up with Leg and everything that he's got going on. Make sure you check out Broke Scales from my man's Face the Misfit. And also big up to Cheryl, Mickey. Thanks you guys for having me on the show last week to debut my new song, KOS, Knowledge of Self. Of course, I was taking you back in time on a journey. If I could go back and talk to myself as a little kid, if you had the opportunity to go back in time and talk to yourself, what would you say? What hints, what clues, what warnings would you give yourself? Would you do it at all? Are you satisfied with the way things are now? Does that take you to a place where it's peace? Or does it take you to a place where it's making you want to go back in time and just tell yourself, watch out for this, be careful of that. You're gonna go through this, but you have to do it this way in order to come out on top. That's what KOS is, that's what Knowledge of Self is, because I've always had it. I just didn't utilize it like a lot of us. Big up to everybody for tuning in to the Willie Gobo Show this week. I hope you enjoyed my man Greg's Big Ten Take. Make sure you like, subscribe, check me out. If you want to be on the show, get at me. I would love to be able to interview anybody in town doing something special with themselves. And almost forgot. There's a little kid out here that I've been following for a moment. Caden Skipper. This dude has been doing some things, and I want to big up to his pops, man. His pops is like one of the most dedicated fathers you will ever find, man. So Caden Skipper, class of 2026. Make sure you check this brother out, man. He's going to be all over some good film. You know what I'm saying? For real. Caden Skipper is going to be a hell of a defensive lineman. I'm not sure as to exactly what his recruiting status looks like right now, but that boy can ball. That boy can ball. Peace from the Willie Bobo Show. Mad love, y'all.